Yo, what is up guys? We are looking at the rank 1 jungler. His name is Agurin. He decided to play a flex game, perhaps with his friends. And just to note, he is actually unranked on flex. So, yeah, I mean... he might just stomp the enemy team. Now here's the thing, they have a well-organized team comp. They have a Yumi, Yasuo, and Ord, right? Now, they also have like a coin flipper, Shaco. It's just there, I guess. So he's supposed to actually win this game through the early game. Let's see what happens. Didn't really know, basic start. Starts out with his blue. Yes, his ward. The reason why he pretty much wanted to start out with blue is just to gank early on the Yumi and Jinx to deny their scaling. Also most likely the Lulu and the Ashe will more likely have priority to invade into Shaco. That's another reason, right? So simple as that. Invade angle, free scuttle scrap. Top most likely won't really be gankable if one positions correctly, since there is no hard engage. So if one doesn't give up his E, he always gets to E out most of the times, or W Hecarim C, so he just simply has counterplay against Hecarim. Now, is this ambient sound a little bit too loud? I don't think so, right? So in here he just continues his clear, no level 3 ganking opportunity, of course. He even pings, right? Really smart pings. Actually, not from him, but from Lulu, actually. They want to actually duo invade the Shaco. Okay, so they decided to invade, or just to leave a ward, actually. Shaco walks downwards, walks in the bush. Now he has clear vision of, of what Shaco is doing. Now in here he had the option to invade, because the guy is level 2 and he has no Q, no flash. Or he has the option to also get this red. Now, I would actually commit for that because we have both priority. Mid prior we probably don't have, but here's the thing, likely could disengage with Ghost even if Yasuo rotates, right? In the worst case scenario, and Shaco doesn't really have a straight up escape nor smite. So, in this upper scenario, where he took Raptors, I would actually consider going into the enemy jungler and invading Shaco over just getting the red for free. Because some of Shaco's time been wasted. So in this particular situation, I do suppose he would have enough time to collapse on him on the, how's it called, on this blue, of course, because he had also no smite, so that would be another great idea. They probably shared the same amount of smite cooldown. His smite goes up a tiny bit faster as well. Okay. So here Shaco just basically does his camps, no invade, no nothing. You know, basic full clear. He committed himself into a basic full clear, but it's really weird one thing he did, right? So let's just turn on really quick the epic pen. Usually if you want to commit yourself into a complete full clear, you don't necessarily want to put a point in your E. You want to put 2 points in your Q, because he's not even using his E, you know? Like, did he even use his E in this clear? I don't think so, right? Now, in case after, like, let's say, like, Raptors or red you may get an opportunity, then you should aim to, of course, put a point in your E. But even placing a point in his E from the Raptor camp, and he didn't use it a single time in his full clear. Now, the thing is, he's gonna get level 4 from this, right? So at level 4, he could have his, how is it called, his E up to gank. So it's better to speed up your clear with putting 2 points in your Q, if you want to full clear, instead of putting a point in your E at level 3. It will definitely increase your clear speed, right? Because he didn't use his E. Like, he could at least use once his E or something, you know, but he didn't actually use his E a single time. Now in here he gets a collapse angle. He tries to, of course, gank these guys. Let's see if he manages to get the gank off. So he goes, and pay attention how he eat. So he ghosted earlier than he eat, so he can hold a little bit more into his E to play around Jinx's flash, right? So in here what Hecarim will do, he will hold into his E to see if Jinx flashes, so he can get a better E angle. Look. He's waiting for the flash, but... and see? If you are patient enough on your E, you could get a knockback angle, right? Which is really great. Like this. So this is what you should generally do if people have flash up. Just play around the flash, hold into that E, and you're gonna get a first blood kill like that, right? It's a really important skill to master against champions like that have a blink, like probably even an Ezreal, or either a champion that has a flash, right? He definitely plays around those type of early game flashes. Now in here what he does, he simply picks up a Scuttle Scrub. It was really well played on his part by holding into his E, of course. Now in here he tries to force some type of gank. His point is really to just get the Scuttle Scrub in. He tried to do something, but he's just here just for grab the Kassadin of the Mazar to shove, of course, and you know, apparently Hecarim got recently nerfed, but he doesn't seem to be that useless of a champion. He's definitely weaker than he was. Now, really smart from him, he left the ward in here. The reason for that is simple. He can see what Shaco does in general right now, so it allows Mazar to see if he's looking for a gank, of course, but now Mazar reset, so I don't see too much point on this ward unless Mazar stays in lane. It feels like just donation of gold, like we already know Shaco is there and there is already a ward, so I feel like it's a little bit of a waste of ward though. It's my opinion though. If he had 2 wards then he had actually only 1, so actually he rushed boots, Ionian boots of Lucidity. Now the interesting thing about Hecarim, maybe some of you guys don't know, so Hecarim is passive, scales with bonus movement speed, so when he actually buys boots he gonna also get bonus AD, so now it provides 14 AD, right, and when he buys boots, look, his AD gonna be higher from his passive. He brought boots and wow, so I guess he had some type of speed up, so his boots provide him 6 attack damage, right? It's like not that bad, right? He got a longsword as well, of course. It's not bad. Like Ionian boots is definitely good to snowball. He also got an early game tier, really good. Now what else you could do? You could also get a tier and get a dirk and a longsword. It generally has more damage but less mobility, right? It can be a choice to like sort of get a tier, a longsword, and dirk, and maybe get like an early Muramana just to like snowball the game, or the other item, of course, how is it called, the 50 AD 12 lethality item that's good at clearing wards. I kinda forgot its name. It's not really used too often, but before it was picked on Hecarim just to snowball these games. That's another great option because you don't really have attack damage on enough damage on Hecarim, right, from boot. But then again, it depends what do you value, right, and what kind of gank setup your teammates have. Like, attack damage can be great if your teammates can already set up sort of a all-in for you without you needing that bonus speed. It really depends from game to game, right? In this specific game I wouldn't necessarily rush boots from my own opinion. It just doesn't provide as much damage, of course. It's most of the lanes have some form of gank setup, such as this mid lane, of course. It's like not all that much needed, but on bot lane I suppose it's required, right? They tried to force a gank on this guy. He managed to actually get the kill. I didn't pay attention, my bad. So in here he's well aware that it was warded, but the important thing what he watched out for, it was warded, but he will notice it that in a few seconds this ward gonna expire. Now it doesn't really matter right now because he also actually face checks, never mind. So he pops his shield with his W, which is actually great. Now in here he presses his E, his flash is baited out, and watch out how oh, that was well played. And now he just pretty much tries to finish off the guy. He's waiting for his E. Now my issue was he wasn't spacing too well around the Yasuo Qs, which is not a big deal right now because oh, it kinda is because he got his tornado when he escaped. So there was an outplay pattern he could do. So as soon as Yasuo's Q is up, he either walks back a tiny bit so he doesn't get his tornado, so maybe he doesn't escape, right? That's one of the options. Or even earlier on he could do legitimately the same thing. He could then simply E backwards when Yasuo Qs, but it doesn't really matter in here. It more so matters with this all-in. Okay. And in here he didn't really play around his Q by walking back. He really hard greeted on the kill, right? Just really walked in a straight line, so Yasuo gets his... Like, even sidestepping, not even like outspacing it, but even sidestepping would help him in this situation. Because walking a tiny bit sideways is better than getting knocked up with his Q for 1 second and getting a little bit damaged as well, of course, right? Now in here he just does his own thing, of course. He clears, pretty much he just clears his Scuttle Strap, not much happens, of course. He is getting the ward out because he was under vision. Sadly the Mazar is getting farmed right now, so what can we do about him? Oh, this dragon, it looks really good though. Be sure what it is. Get your own Pokemon in these days. And here he just commits into his clear, you know, there is not much to say. Also, let's look at his side of the map, Obserong team. Where is that? Okay, so clearing, not much happens. He's looking for mid gank, so if some of you guys didn't know, Malzahar has one of the most insane gank setups. He has some degree of damage, he has a silence, but the most important thing is his ultimate. He locks down someone for 2.5 seconds. That's insane, guys, because in those 2.5 seconds most of the junglers can simply kill the enemy laner. That's an insane gank setup this champion has, right? Also he pokes to some degree, so that's another thing that sets up sort of a gank, because it's easier to gank that way, right? You know, in here he's just trying to force a... I don't know exactly why he didn't really commit into it, because he had a ghost, Lulu speed up ult. Maybe there was an underlying reason that Yumi could be there with Shaco, or some Shaco boxes are set up in a way that... Oops, my bad. In a way that his gank gets countered or something. But Shaco right now got killed, so I don't exactly know why. He could then even Oracle the Shaco. Oh! No, I forgot actually to buy Oracles. Generally against Shaco, if you want to make useless an AP Shaco, usually when they go Dark Harvest they go AP or Force Strike. What you should aim to do is just get Oracle. It deactivates his boxes, or at least his boxes are smiteable. Range champions can destroy them. I suppose Hecarim's Q can reach those boxes, and it's really great to like see his boxes, right? So Shaco could bait you into like, let's say like 3 or 4 set up boxes, you could die, but if you have Oracle you just don't walk into those so easily because you see them, right? It's really important to get Oracle into Shaco, right? Now in here he goes for the nerfed item, he goes Ravenous. It's still probably like an okay choice on Hecarim. It's more so of a solo queue item, right? In general, in pro play it's more so Trinity and Divine the option that you should go for. So in here people are fighting a little bit. Ornn wasted his ultimate, it probably got pinged by Mundo. You know, in here he commits into the Yasuo, definitely really great. He sidestepped his key right now, definitely well played on his part. Oh yes, Yasuo got killed though, but now he forces a fight on the, extremely well played on his part. So maybe some of you guys don't know, but Hecarim's ultimate makes him unstoppable, in the sense that if he will take knockup, right? Hecarim will move to the targeted location, but the riders will always move the full distance, right? So it's not written on his ultimate, but he's actually displacement immune. I'm not sure if he's completely unstoppable, but in here he could ban sidestep his W, but it's not a big deal. So you can actually ultimate on E, so he doesn't knock you up the same way as Fiora parries, like this, right? Instead of ulting out, you could ult in to counter his knockup. And here's the thing, if Ornn doesn't knock up right now Hecarim just kills him. And also what's really important to know, the prickle doesn't get procced when someone is unstoppable, although Ornn can proc it right after his E. In here he taxes the wave, I mean he doesn't even taxes it, he sort of pushes it in so Ornn doesn't get to have some type of freeze, right? Although most likely it would shove alone the wave in, but it doesn't really matter, so you need to pick it up as a jungler. As Hecarim you wanna get to carry the game, you want to get as much gold as possible from your laners. He even got 2 plates, maybe 3 plates, so just out of the minions and out of the plates he got like 500 if he gets this plate. That would be one more auto swing. I think he could panic shit. Am I right? One or two. One more basic attack. I would one more basic attack it because He could just E out right after that, so I don't think so there was any upfront danger from my honest opinion, since Ornn had no ult either, so no ignite. It's something I would basic attack one more time, right? But if he can get his whole Ravenous side right, it can be forgiving of course, so it's not a big deal if he gets his own Ravenous right, because then Mundo can get the plate for himself later on. It's not completely wasted of course, the plate itself. Same here, he just gets Herald, I mean, not much to say, right? Every time he sidesteps, by the way, the Herald basic attacks, right? The swings, right? So he gets less damage. In here he brought Ravenous Sider, really insane. What else he brought? He brought a Caulfield Wallhammer, right? Now, in here again he's patting bot lane. Can we visually see it? He's patting bot lane. Now the good thing is that Jinx has no cleanse, so if he gets ulted by Hecarim, he gonna be feared. Alright, so in here they are setting up something, right? Jinx is really deep in lane, we can visually see it. Yasuo is sort of in the middle of the lane, so he could be ganked as well, but he rather decides to kill the hyperscalers, Jinx and Yuumi. So in here they are showing up, Yuumi already speeds up, Lulu already speeds up Hecarim. I don't know why didn't he speed up, but I think it's fine. And in here he just ults in the seal. He held a little too long in his ult honestly, but I think it's fine. Probably because Yuumi had exhaust, right? Maybe that's the reason. So he wanted to finish off first of all Shakeout and get the Yuumi. Okay, so he's really fed right now into the game. It's really great actually. Okay. Oh, that's the only thing he didn't play around, right? So generally, if they have like an Ezreal or Jinx, you don't want to stay in one spot. Like he walked the tiny bit always around this area. You want to, honestly, you want to kind of like circle around the tower so it doesn't hit you. That's the only way you dodge it if you want to greed for the plates. Now, that's actually the only way you would escape that, right? But it's fine because he got the whole plated tower. It's not the end of the world, of course, because he can possibly get an item. He already has a Caulfield, so he could pretty much get an item already. He got his Duskblade, so he really wants to carry the game. Apparently he wants to get those resets. He wants to carry this game. He already has how much cooldown? Probably like 70, 60. Let's check. Where's his cooldown? 65 actually, okay. It's in between. Alright, so again, you know, in here, just chilling. He's looking for a mid-gank angle, of course. He's trying to pretty much pick up the Shaco. There's a cool trick that you can abuse against Shaco. Either you can pay attention which which clone used the, of course, the an ability, or you can also click on Shaco and you can see the clone has no items, for example. Or if you damage both Shaco and the clone, usually the clone takes more damage. That's another way to notice it. But clicking on Shaco usually shows no items on the clone, and it also shows no, how's it called, Dark Harvest X and the bonus threat itself, right? So there are ways that you can detect which is the real Shaco. In here he pretty much knows who's the real Shaco. He smites the box, really well played on this part, so he doesn't get feared. He just picks up the Shaco. He just picks up the Shaco. Now in here he's looking for a dive because maybe some of you don't know, but Mundo is really good at diving. He can heal a lot with his ultimate and his W, so he can withstand quite a lot of tower shots before he dies, so that's a possible option he wants to go for. But since Ornn has a Jack Show already, he's really tanky, he's not really trying to go for any type of risky plays. He does not have to risk at all. That's totally fine if he doesn't want to commit for that. Okay. So in here we skip a tiny bit, he's looking, you know, objective after objective. It's like a general rule. If you are this dominant, you should get every single objective. Like, you don't want to leave any type of objective for the enemy team. This is definitely a great break for his team. He has to smite this, right? He got to smite. Now he's wishing for the Shaco, of course. Watch out what he did, by the way. So there's an interesting trick you can do against certain players, like for example if Annie has a T-burst or a Shaco box or a Heimerdinger Q or what have you. So just to get some extra distance, in here he clicked on the box and not on Shaco because his box could fear him, right? And from the other hand, it gives him some distance towards Shaco. So he can totally do that just to gain up some distance. Also, I think he maybe eats Shaco. Yeah, I think he maybe just eats Shaco. I'm actually not sure there. Okay. So in here, you know, we should pick up every single jungle camp from the enemy jungler if we killed him, you know, basic type of stuff. In here he collapses on the Yasuo, he probably ults. Yeah, he ults before he gets to ult. So the important thing about Yasuo is that if you fear him, if you CC him, even if he knocks up someone, he can't really ultimate, so that's the good thing about it. So that's why he generally ulted there. So in here Yasuo can't like somehow kill the Lul, right, or something. In here he just tried to pick up the Yasuo, but he's not risking because he has a bounty and Yasuo has no bounty, right? So at this point of the game you don't want to go for risky plays. When you are ahead enough you want to go for consistent plays. You don't want to go for 1-for-1s, you don't want to go for 2 risky plays. But you generally want to go for the objectives because it's really likely you can secure them, of course. You know, just safe plays, you don't have to overly risk because most likely you already have enough control over the game, so you kinda like throw away your control by risking, right? And this is what lots of low elo players, you don't get it. Like if you constantly risk and like you can risk with some champions till you get a lead, but after getting a lead you don't wanna risk too much anymore. that's not your point, right? Anyways, I look at it, it's not your point, you know. Okay, so in here, you know, basic stuff. Just clears, you know, there's not much to gank except Yasuo, right? So he's getting the Krugs into Yasuo. A really simple type of stuff. Ornn is kinda ungankable, mid is missing, right? So he didn't have anything else to do. Also Baron is, there is time until Herald comes, so he's pretty much clearing his bot side camps till Baron comes, so he can do something with the uptime, right? Now, apparently people are forcing, so he will show up soon. But he decides to not, actually. The reason for that is 5 men are stacking, and again, he's not looking for risky plays, he's not trying to 1v5 or anything, because he doesn't want to throw away his lead, right? He can just consistently CS, he can just simply just pick up these camps, of course, and that's definitely great if he can do that. Again, from camp to camp, he spams his abilities as much as he can. Not much to say, he's just clearing his jungle right now, finished the clearing, and now he's looking either to get a pick with his ultimate. So every time your ult is up on Hecarim, you aim to actually gank, right? You want to get some ganks, no, you don't necessarily want to just to sit with your ultimate power farm for no reason all the time. Now in here, he noticed Yasuo is bot, Ornn is topside, the rest of them are positioning turbo safe so they don't get collapsed on by Hecarim. They have to play defensively at this point, so he decides to go for Herald because that's gonna definitely add them to siege even further beyond. Here he gets caught, but at least we get a Herald, right, which is like 300 gold, some XP, right? It's definitely great because the towers it provides, right? So that's good. And here what happens is just quite simple. They are trying to get play done on the top side of the map. They're trying to force a gank on the Ornn, of course. So he doesn't even use, he keeps his int in case Ornn ults or something. The first, right? Really well played on his part, he picked up a tower. Now of course even in here, right, so watch out what he does, he's not trying to risk right now, right? So he's just resetting, you know, he has a lot of gold on him, there is no reason for him to force right now, he gets a whole Muramana, insane spike, right, like, now I think he's looking for a possible all-in with the loop, but just decided to play it out more passively, which is totally fine. He got his item, of course. Again, you know, he's clearing out vision, he's fishing for picks before the objective, so if you're this ahead, you can aim to fish for picks before objectives, or don't like stack on the objective, you can just simply sit in certain bushes with your teammates in case they're trying to contest, so you can sort of kill them, right, if they try to overstep, right? Which is again great. It's also good against certain champs like, for example, say Serat, right, because he's looking for an ult steal, if it's possible, so being there against the Serat or Ziggs is really great because they don't all looks, right, so they don't seal it with their ranged ability if they are preemptively there. Okay, so this is definitely great. He picked up a camp. Now what he's doing is securing his Drake. This is really good Drake for him because he's will do shields, he can heal of course, he has a shield from the jungle item, so he gets value out of both sides of this Drake. So this Drake provides 5% healing and 5% shielding power, right? So they recognize the real Shaco and they're killing it, right? Alright. Now in here what happens after Shaco is dead, the smite is not a coin flip anymore and Jinx's rocket cannot deal 1200 to this Baron, which is again great because this should be a free smite for him, right? Although Jinx will still try to risk a rocket, so that's definitely something to watch out for. Which is really good, like Mundo tanked it, which is really good, right? But I do suppose the rocket still reached the objective. Again, it's not really a big deal because Hecarim smited it. Now, in here what happens, Hecarim is aiming to finish his Death Dance. The reason for that is simple. Armor is really great into this comp. Two of them are AD, and these are the main champions, right? These are the win condition of the team comp. He can get really easy resets for the Duskblade, for the Death Dance. Again, it's really great if you're this fat. You know, in here simple stuff happens, picks up the camps of course. Basically he's just aiming to LCS as much as possible, get his 16, push out the side waves. The reason why they push out the side waves is that they are looking to siege from the bottom side of the map, not mid lane. The good thing about sieging with Hecarim right now and with the whole team, they don't have the best wave clear except Shaco boxes, which can be sort of instantly one-shotted or just Oracle, right? So because they don't have the best wave, I guess they have a Jinx, but like that's all that's about it. And even she has some difficulties clearing empowered minions. The reason why they stack so much right now, one is topside, so one can't really like randomly ult Yasuo gets a 5-man ult and something happens, right? No, this is not that game. In here, what simply happens, one ulted, right? He gets ulted. He's focusing a little too much on, I do believe, because he's really tanky and he has no pen. So the general idea is you can kill tanks with Hecarim, but if you have no pen, you won't deal damage to one. Like a Jack Show Ord, we can see how much armor he has a lot. You would rather focus squishes that have an insane amount of damage output. We can see Jinx's attack speed, attack damage, that's your general target. So I think he didn't switch in time targets. Oh, and now he just disengages. He's not risking his fight. He's not risking his life again. Like he's not risking for a 1-for-1 or anything. He doesn't want to throw his lead. That's the general thing about this player. When he has a lead, he plays as consistently as possible, as safely as possible. Now in here he picks up the bot wave, gets that 16 ultimate. His 16 ultimate is 100 more damage, a little bit less cooldown, like 10 less cooldown, 9, right? Again, it's not necessarily bad as a spike. In in here is probably finishing already his Death Dance. Again, really great item right now. The only issue is he has no penetration against Ornn, so but the rest of the champions are quite squishy, so it's not a big deal actually. But Ornn is a champion you should watch out for to not over-focus him, because he has no armor pen at all. That champion just gets to be way too tanky with Jack Show when it's activated. Again, he's not trying to ult the Jinx, he's not forcing too much. In fact, he may ult out defensively, no, he doesn't. It's fine then. He's trying to heal up, so with Trap on the side and his W you can heal up really quickly. Like his W can heal for a lot because it scales with 80, so he has 480, so it's gonna heal a lot, right? It's gonna heal a lot. For example, check his HP. He got healed up by the red, of course, by his W. Insane right now, he's full HP, right? That's great. Again, you know, picking up the camp, really great. But he is cleaning up everything, right? He's just simply cleaning up everything. Again, he's focusing a little too much the Ornn. Meantime, Yasuo is shredding his teammates. Again, the issue is like Ornn is too tanky. Look at his armor right now. When Jack Show from it's like 300 something, right? So it's like squishes first and tanks like Ornn. Like Ornn does not much damage compared to them, right? So you gotta kill the main DPS because you get too much stuck on tanks, and also they don't deal too much damage, right? So it's like you gotta have your own priorities. Now here he chooses to get Drake over the inhib. The reason for that is we're gonna get really close to the soul. He has his smite up. Again, it's probably a free smite because he probably just saw the Shaco earlier on, I think spiting somewhere, so that's why he assumed that this should be a save today. Yeah, really great break by the way for his team. For example, Mundo gets 10% more healing power, plus he gets like 5% per enemy champion at rank 3, which can be 5 champions is 25%, right? Plus 10, it's like 35. Plus if he has Revitalize it can be 40, he doesn't. But if he has Spirit Visage, 35 plus 25, he can have 60% bonus healing, which is really insane on this champion, right? So it both affects his ultimate, of course, any type of things that heal him in some way, right? Okay. Now, let's see what happens in here. Now he's just picking up simply some frags. Not much happens, of course. So the reason why they're top side, of course, Baron is up. Mid is not really worth to be sieged. The inhibitor is not really worth to be opened unless you have Baron and you can open up multiple things. So the general idea in higher ranks is you can open up mid, right, for more space to fight. Then you should open up the towers, and when you have enough pressure, then you want to open up the inhib, because the game gonna last more than, like, it depends how much you can pressure with the fact that the inhib is open. But in higher ranks usually people don't open it up too quickly because too many waves gonna be denied by the super minion, so we cannot CS, and they're also gonna get one super minion for the XP value, which is not really great for us. So usually you wanna like open up like all the inhibs in one run when you're dominant enough. That's more consistent than opening up an early inhib. That this inhib been here for a long time because it would just provide them more value in long term, right? Again, he's not risking anything, he's not trying to ult in, he's not trying to push for any type of risky place. What he's doing, he waits until people are using their CC, their slows on the Mundo, and when Mundo soaks some of their damage, then he's looking for an all-in. But other than that, he's not risking much, honestly. Like, until they hard-hold into their defensive abilities, even like a Yumi Exhaust, he's not committing too early on, because how Duskblade works, you kinda rely on resets. If you don't get your resets, then DLP you gonna be less useful, but in here he got his Sherilda Scratch, insane item with his build, really good item on Hecarim, right? Now he can deal damage finally to Horde as well. And here is shoving. Now he's full build, so now he tries hard to force before they get to scare, right? Holy. That was 2 Qs and the basic. Holy. And he even wiped, and his full HP, and he wiped his box and his clone, which means that he gets extra gold value from Shaco. In here he engages, W's of course. Now in here he's forcing, in here he's taking risky fights, but now he disengages, he realizes it might not be for him. Sort of, you don't want to force until your team is around, so if your team is around, it's easier to get the reset of your items, such as Duskblade and the other item. When your teammates are around, you finish someone, right? Okay. Again, he's one-shotting the Shaco. Not much to say. Basically, we are so what at this point. And he finishes the game. So yeah, that's about it. That's about it, guys. Have a nice day.